Hey, how's it going, guys? God's Vessel or Caesar here today, bringing you another Ninja Gaiden. Mic difficulties here. All right, bringing you another Ninja Gaiden Stigma 2 Chapter Challenge walkthrough. We just got done going through Chapter 5 yesterday. I believe Chapters 1 through 5 are now uploaded. 6 and 7 we're going to try to do today, and we'll probably see how things go. After 7, it's 8. I don't remember who's 8. I think 8 and 9. I think 9 is Ayane, but anyway, we'll get to those chapters. What's that sound? Okay. But yeah, we'll get to the chapters after we're done with this one. So right now we're going to focus on 6 and 7. And I have a couple of deaths throughout the chapter. I have an early death when I'm fighting the dragons on the bridge. And I have a few deaths at the end of the game during the boss fight. I think I died like 2 or 3 times. So other than that, it's pretty much going to play right through. I told you guys before that I won't do a lot of editing, especially if I die 2 or 3 times. Now, if I start to die, excuse me, if I start to die, 4, 5, 6, 7 times, then I'll of course cut those repeated fails out of there. Because again, I don't think anybody wants to see that, which is also why it's a reason why I don't live stream the game, because no one wants to come and watch you fail. You kind of click on the video to kind of see, someone succeed at playing the game. Maybe they can kind of get a nostalgia trip from watching you play through it, or they can be encouraged to go back and play it themselves. So you don't want to see me fail, and then I rage, and then it's not a good thing. So yeah. We're going to cut the fails out, at least the terrible ones. Ooh. He got a hard head, doesn't he?
This bores me.
Right?
So fragile, the lot of them. So weak. I cannot stand another minute of this tedium. You will find me a mighty adversary. You will bring before me an opponent worthy of I, Wolf, greater fiend and ruler of storms. Accomplish this, and you shall be made ruler of this land.
Seems like a pretty fair deal to me. Too easy. And right out the gate, we'll go ahead and switch out to our Windblade Nempo. There's no need to have anything else on. The dragons get the Void Nempo, but the Windblade Nempo works great in this chapter. This guy is just kind of like marveling in his own little accomplishment that he laid a hand on the mighty dragon ninja, but he severely pays for it. And you might see me spamming the L1 button, like right there. I was just clicking my, weapons together. It's just a little thing I do. Doesn't do anything. It's probably just a habit. So, yeah. And then right here, I think when you play through the story mode, this might be an upgrade shop. I could be ahead of myself, but I don't think so. But if it's not an upgrade shop, I know there's one on the other side of this bridge before you get the chest full of Nempo. And so what we have coming up here, two things. One is a death, and I'm going to run across this water over here and go in the back. There's a chest full of Nempo. Now I don't do it in the video, but what should have happened is that I should have went and got the I'm kind of like looking for it right here. What I should have went and done was did the bridge encounter and then came back and got the Nempo out the chest. I can just burn through a Nempo on the bridge, but I did it backwards. So I went and I opened the chest up, then went and got into the bridge fight. But at the same time, if you know you're not going to use Nempo in the next fight, then it doesn't really matter. But using a Nempo and having them restore for free is always probably the easiest way to go. So I'm just kind of swimming around here like, man, I think it's a chest underwater, but it's always better to check than not to find anything than not to check and miss it, and then you need it down the road. So yeah, and here's our chest right here. So yeah, I should have went to the bridge first. So if you guys watch this, go to the bridge and fight this encounter here, and then open the chest up. And I'm pretty sure I was doing forward TT or forward triangle, which is a D-limb and stun. And if it's not a D-limb, it at least stun him. And that guy just juggernauted through my attacks. So if you haven't figured out by now, is you're playing through Master Ninja, be prepared to have a lot of your attacks just pretty much walk through by the enemies. So get used to that. You already saw it in chapter 4, I think it was, where I was punching that dragon in the head and he just headbutted me and my character just hit the wall and died. It almost reminds me of I think it's called the Death Fist from Taken that Paul has. I think he's a boxer. No, that's Steve. Steve is the boxer. Paul is the I think he's like an MMA fighter. But either way, there's a fighter in Taken called Paul, and if he hits you with the Death Fist on rage counter hit wall splat, it's an instant kill. And that's what that headbutt felt like. You know, I was fighting him, and he just hits me one time and I die. The grabs, it's the exact same thing. You're fighting him, he hits you one time and you're dead. In this case, he grabs you. It's still dumb. One shot kill abilities from the game. From the game to you as a player are bullshit. But if you can one shot kill the game, I'm pretty sure it's totally fair, right? You know, they're not gonna care. And I'm over here like the chest is over here, so this time again I still do it backwards. Instead of opening the chest, or instead of fighting the bridge and opening the chest, I open the chest and fight the bridge. But that's because I was, well, two things, because I forgot, and then two, watching it back now, I'm confident that I can take the bridge fight without having to burn any Nempos. But again, you take the bridge fight, then you burn the Nempos, and then open the chest. And this lunch right here, nothing connects. And see, this guy's gonna try to dive on me in a second. Yeah. Always remember, you can manipulate these guys' movements depending on where you're standing. Don't even give him a chance to get going. He gets to grabbing and stomping and charging. It's all a load of shit. Get back up. Oh, okay. Man. Tried to run me over. You see that guy? Yeah, and then the little charge move by the wolves here. I think they actually have two grabs. Not two grabs, but they have two instant kill moves. Now I think about it, Yeah, the wolves have the move where they sit back and charge at you, and if the charge hits you, it's an instant kill. Then they have an actual grab. I think that if you're hurt, it'll kill you too. So it's not so much an instant kill, but it does a ton of damage to the point where you don't want to be caught damaged trying to fight these guys, especially if they grab you. Easy wind blade attack, and then just go ahead and press T on all these guys and make short work of them. Don't want to give them any room to get going on you. He sure tried his best. I'm sure he did. And I think in this chapter or the next chapter is where you actually do get the tonfas. Yeah. So all this fancy dash and dealing, action you see me doing, you won't be able to have access to it until this chapter, or I think next chapter. But once you get them, upgrade them as fast as you can. Now, right here in this chapter, this will always be a talisman of rebirth. In chapter 11 with Ayana, you play in the same map, it's just at nighttime. In that chapter, when you go to that exact same spot, it won't be a talisman. It'll be, I think, an herb of life or a grain of life, or grain of spiritual life, if you're being technical, or herb of spiritual life. But it'll be a grain or herb, and it's always good to go there and get that. Don't pass that up. And I was kind of hoping for like a 2-for-1 deal right here where I could shoot off one Nempo, but I only got one, so hey. And I probably didn't even need to use it. I probably could have just lured him in right here and then fought him, but I was just being lazy. Ooh, almost got grabbed right there. I want to play Overwatch. I'm not gonna play Overwatch when I'm done with this. And you guys play Overwatch out there, feel free to hit me up. Now, if you're, not competitive, don't bother me. But if you are competitive at the game, then shoot me an invite. My PSN is in the bottom of the description of this video here. But we're not playing Overwatch now on the screen. We're playing Ninja Gaiden, so we should probably stick to that commissary. So yeah, exact same map when you play chapter 11 with Ayane. So every spot you see me check, except for up here. When you go beyond the pillars, you can't go back there. But every spot you see me check, in this area right here, check it again when you play chapter 11, because it's going to have the herbs or the Nempo or the grain of life in there that'll help you out. These guys are a pain. I don't know how to fight them. So you'll see me do the Azuna drop. You okay back there, champ? Champ is my 5-year-old pit bull, Doberman dog. I call him a puppy, even though he's not a puppy. So you may hear him from time to time in the background. Throwing shurikens in the water does nothing, so it's just a habit of mine. And I think over to the right, there might be a chest in the water, so you'll see me kind of like go look for it. Oh, there's a crystal. Of course, the crystal, again, reduces the price of the shop item, so always get those. But I don't think there was any kind of chest, so. So here we are at the next fight, and this door will not open until you open the chest right there. So how I was going on at the beginning of the chapter about, you know, burning nipples and then get into the fight, you have to burn the nipples. You have to open the door by opening the chest, so you can't save any nipples on this fight right here. Should have went to the left a little bit right here. I was trying to get another 2 for 1, but it didn't work out. One thing you got to keep in mind when you're fighting these guys is that most of the time going to be someone behind you as well as in front of you. So never kind of engage them and stand still. You get hit by the fireball and the fireball will end you. That easy. And of course, we're going to go ahead and head back again and abuse our save point. It's going to be quite a ways before we get another one, so we'll have to go ahead and prepare for that. And so what I do right here, and I do it in most of the fights, is I just go ahead and run back to an area where I can control the engagements. There's a dragon out there on the bridge. It's a dragon or this little bird thing. Well, I don't want him to become an interference in the fight, so that's why I ran back in that other area to where I can fight him off at my own pace. And in case some of you guys are wondering, no, there are no chests underwater in that area where I just came from, so there's no point in looking. That's why I kind of just went ahead and ran straight across. But there is a chest in here though on this little scaffold, as you can see straight ahead. So always go for that one. There's no real reason not to get it, so yeah. So I know we got a fight coming up here. Instead of running up the steps and charging to the enemies, you stand right here for protection. Charge your UT up. I think I took out about 4 of these guys right here. 4, maybe 5, with just 1 UT. And you punch. Come on, if I jump higher than you, how you punch me in the air like that? Stupid dog. Played that. That fight is over. I actually hate fighting those guys too, but they still don't take more hatred than I have for the dogs. The dogs will be forever number one. I'm going to spend a little time lurking around here in these, I guess, catacombs, or tunnels, or whatever they are. So I'm looking for a chest like this, and you see me switch to the lunar staff because I'm expecting the chest to have the fish in them again, the ghost fish. So yeah, and right here I got 15 large. I can buy out Marimoose's shop, put him out of business, but because everything is so expensive, I can't do that. I just thought I could. And as you see, I already have a talisman of rebirth in my possession. There is one at the end of the chapter you can pick up, and it's also one at the beginning of the next chapter you can pick up in the exact same spot. I don't know if you can abuse it that way through team or through the story missions, but when you're playing chapter challenge, you can do it that way. I heard his wings flopping in the background. I don't know if you guys are here on playback, but that's why I was standing there like that. A little too quiet in here, isn't it? I was expecting more bad guys in here, but hey, I mean, we can't complain about not having enemies to fight because they might make. Well, I was going to say they might make Ninja Gaiden Sigma 3, which they still could do. They already made Ninja Gaiden 3, which is terrible. But they could make a Sigma 3 and just put enemies in every corner, which we don't want that either. So let me not complain about it not being enough bad guys because they're already cheap enough. So I'm going to go ahead and warn you guys, this part right here, you see me swimming, looks clear by the way. You see me swimming around in circles because I thought there was a chest over here that had maybe a herb of life or a grain in it. So I'm going to swim around this part several times, not several times, but a couple times. And then down here in this trench a couple times because I thought it was a chest over here. The chest is actually on the other side of the map before you go down in the hole where you can pick it up. So that's what I'm looking for right here. And there are the ghost fish. And one of the timers guys aren't too bad, but I'm sure you guys know by now, if they gang up on you, they'll hurt you. Get away. Just testing out a few combos, that's all. Can't go wrong with that. And then over here is where I was talking about where the chest is at underwater. All right, here we are at the end of the chapter. And here I'm sure there are 2 or 3 chests around here. Of course, there's one right here that I'm looking at. There's one thing on the other side of the map underwater. And then there's the final chest that gives you the Talisman of Rebirth. And that's the one I was saying how you could abuse it. To where you can open it now. Like, say you didn't find that one talisman on top of the little rooftop. You can open this one now. And then at the beginning of chapter 7, it'll pop back up again and you can open it again. I'm not sure if you can do that in story mode, but you can definitely abuse it here though. but you can pick it up here and use it, and then if you use it, so what? And in the beginning of 7, just pick it up again. And I'm kind of running over to it now, so yeah. So you see me right here just picking the fish off. No reason to go over there and engage them in their area. You pick them off one by one from over here. So that's always an option. I think if you go over to the platform, they'll come to you, but it's just easier and safer to do it over here. And you'll see in a moment, once you get rid of all of them, you'll just appear on the platform anyway after the cutscene. So why not make it easier on yourself? And then we got a couple deaths here, 2, maybe 3 deaths. I think it's 2. The mechanics on this fight are pretty simple, pretty straightforward. You can't use the arrow to hurt him. You have to use the actual cannon. The wind Nempo is useless here, so I go for the void one because it's the only one that can damage him at range. And then the Vangulian flails to fight off the fish. And then after that, all you need is a little footwork and patience, and you should be able to beat him. Here's where the footwork comes in right here. That attack does a lot of damage. And I might have mentioned this earlier on in some of the other videos, or maybe at the top of the chapter, but this is where I feel like the game, 2 spots right here where the game forces you to use the Talisman of Rebirth, and then the very end fight against the boss, where he's like in both his forms, where you're climbing like that inside of the cave. You're going to use it there, or when he's in his final form where he's like pounding on you when you're on the cliff fighting him. But right there I get taken out by the fish. When I say it like that, it does sound pretty weak. I get taken out by fish. But yeah, they ganged up on me, and that was pretty much that. And this fight, it does try your patience, but you know, you don't have nowhere to run from this guy. You're on this platform in front of him, so if you get impatient and start trying to be greedy and go for extra hits, you'll pay for it every single time, like you see me do here in the video. But I was trying to just get done with it because I think this chapter is drawn out for no good reason. I wouldn't mind skipping right into 7, but hey. And I get attacked again and forced to use the talisman of rebirth. But again, the chest behind him in chapter 7, you can just pick it up. So there's no real stress on not trying to use it here. And if you're playing through the chapter or through the story mode, then yeah, don't use it. But if you're playing through team missions, then you could just use it. Or chapter challenge, you could just use it. So I think that was my second death right there. And I think when we come back, I actually do beat it. I probably got impatient myself, even though I was telling you guys not to get patient. I just wanted it to be over. Yeah, fish tearing me up here again. Got off rhythm, that's what it was. You gotta have a rhythm for this guy. Fortunately, when I killed the fish, they gave me some of my health back, so I didn't get too deep in the hole too fast. Well, look at that footwork right there, man. I'm unstoppable. And then like right there, I was just talking about using the Nempo to save yourself. This is the end of the fight, and oh boy, man, I got tore up. This is the end of the fight, or the last fight in the chapter. So since I know I have the talisman, I can kind of afford to slug it out with him, and then use the Nempo to save myself. Because you don't need him for anything else in this chapter right here. At least not in this fight. We're almost there, boys. Hang tight. At least I hope we are. Don't need any more deaths. Yo, he's one shot. Finish him. Where are my shots going? See, that was all part of the plan right there, to go ahead and burn through the talisman because I don't need it. I'm about to pay for it. Kidding. Yeah, it was pretty close. So that would have been awful if I had died right there. I had to fight him again for trying to show off. Yeah. Just a little insult to injury. You know, we'll swim by you and see how tough you are or not. Well, anyway. Well, guys, that about wraps it up for the chapter challenge walkthrough of chapter 6 on the Master Ninja difficulty. We're going to go ahead and stop it here and see if we can get up 7 sometime this week and maybe even 8. That's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.